Grammar Presentation by
Alice,
Alexa,
and Dylan.
and is a conjunction which is used to connect coordinating words, phrases, or clauses, which means ideas that have the same meaning or continue a situation by adding more information. For example, he fell down and got hurt. This means first he fell down, and the next thing happened is he got hurt. For another example, I like bananas, oranges, grapes, and mangoes. In this example, you have to put comma before and because this is a list of more than 3 items. However, if there are just 2 things, we will just say like, I like bananas and watermelons. In this example, we don't need any commas because there are only 2 items. We put and between bananas and watermelons. Other words or phrases that can be used to connect similar ideas are as well as similar, addition to, besides, furthermore, also, etc. But is used to express the opposite of the meaning. It is negative and has the same meaning as however, nevertheless, and still. For example, Alex has a book, but Alice doesn't. In this example, but is expressing the opposite of having a book. For another example, I can play the piano, or Joe can play the guitar. In this sentence, what expresses that the 2 students have different abilities. Or is used when there is a choice. It also connects a list of items like and, using commas after each item. I will give you an example. Would you like to have a coffee or tea? In this example, you can choose either coffee or tea. For another example, do you like apples, oranges, or bananas better? The answer can be either I like bananas better, I like apples better, or I like oranges better. So is used to express a result. For example, this food is really good. So let's eat it up. They know it is good food, and they want to eat it all because it is so good. I will give you another example. It's such a hot day, so let's go for a swimming in the pool. In this example, it is hot day and they are eager to swim in the pool to cool off. Because shows a reason. We use because when there is a cause. For example, I went back home because there were too many people at the swimming pool. In this example, the cause for going home was too many people at the pool. I will give you another example. I was very sad because my friend hit me. In this sentence, the cause for being sad is my friends hitting me.
Noun clauses that begin with question words. A noun clause is not a complete sentence, but it gives you information about nouns. When, where, why, how, whom, what, which, and whose can be used to introduce a noun clause. For example, where does he live? I don't know where he lives. Where he lives is the noun clause. Another example is when did they live? Do you know when they left? When they left is the noun clause. For another example, what did she say? Please tell me what she said. Is the noun clause in this. What she said is the noun clause in this case. And final example is why is Tom absent? I wonder why Tom is absent. Why Tom is absent is the noun clause in this sentence. As you noticed in the examples, usual question or word order is not used in a noun clause. Also, question word order and noun clause word order are the same when the question word is used as a subject. For example, who came to class? I don't know who came to class. Or, what happened? Tell me what happened. A question mark is used at the end of this noun clause because the main subject and the verb of the sentence are in question word order. For example, do you know when they left? Do you know asks a question, and when they left is the noun clause. A noun or pronoun that follows the main verb be in a question comes in front of be in a noun clause. For example, who is that boy? Tell me who that boy is. In the question sentence, is the verb and that boy is the subject. In the noun clause, the verb is goes after the subject that boy. Another example is whose pen is this? Tell me whose pen this is. Again, the verb is comes after the subject this in the noun clause. A prepositional phrase does not come in front of be in a noun clause. To give you an example, who is in the office? Tell me who is in the office. In this case, the subject and verb stays in the same position. For another example, whose pen is on the desk? Tell me whose pen is on the desk. Again, in this sentence, the subject and the verb whose pen stays the same.
Now I'm going to talk about to, so, either, and neither. There are several rules here. When we use to, so, either, and neither, we need to use two sentences. I mean, we connect two sentences with and. Also, we need to use a comma before the end. To and so are used for positive from the sentence, and either and neither used for negative meaning in the sentence. Also, depends on the verbs. If the verb is if the noun is first person, and if it is present tense, then we need to use does. And if it is be verb, then we need to use is. And if it is perfect tense, then we need to use have verb, which is has. Also, if it is second person and present tense, then we need to use do. And if it is be verb, then we need to use are. Also, if it is perfect tense, then we need to use have. Lastly, if it is third person, then we need to use present tense. If it is present tense, then we need to use do. Also, if it is be verb, then we need to use is or are. Lastly, if it is perfect tense and third person, then we need to use have. To and so are used for positive agreement in positive sentence. Briefly, to is placed at the end of the sentence. On the other hand, so is placed after the end in the sentence. For example, in the sentence, Alex likes apples and Alice does too. In this sentence, I use to make an agreement sentence and use and to connect these sentences and this sentence. Also, in this sentence, oranges are terrible and bananas are too. The verb is be verb here, so I repeat the be verb in second sentence too. Also, I use and to connect two sentences and use to make an agreement. Lastly, in the sentence, Alice has been in class all week and Alex has too. The tense of this the tense of this sentence is perfect tense, so I use has in seconds. So I use has have verb in second sentence too. Also, I use to make an agreement and use and to connect two sentences. Next, we use so to express an agreement either. For example, in this sentence, John works and so does Jason. I use so, therefore the order of the words are changed. I use and to connect two sentences, and it is just active words, so I use does for the verb in second sentence. Also, in this sentence, Eric is tired and so is Joe. I use so to express an agreement and is because here is be verb in first sentence, so I use is in second sentence too. Lastly, in this sentence, I have been to the United States and so has Alice. Here, the tense of this sentence is perfect tense, so I use have verb in second sentence too. Also, I add ends to connect two sentences and use so to make an agreement. On the other hand, neither and either used for negative meaning in negative sentence. Either placed at the end of the sentence and either placed after end in the sentence. Compared with to and so, either is similar with so and neither is similar with so, and this is similar with to. For example, in this sentence, John doesn't study a lot and Jason doesn't either. I use either to make an agreement and there's not here, so I use either and I add not here too because here is not. Also in this sentence, Alex is not ready and Chris isn't either. I use either to make an agreement and add and to connect these sentences and these sentences. Lastly, in the sentence, I have never been to Syria and Andrew hasn't either. In this sentence, the tense is perfect tense, so I use has verb here and add either to make an agreement. Also, I add and to connect two sentences, and if there is never in the sentence, then we don't even if there is no not in sentence, it means negative, so I add not in this sentence. Lastly, we use neither the same as so in negative sentence. If we use neither in the sentence, it means agreement either. In this sentence, I don't want to go to the party and neither does Shriek. I use neither instead of either and the order of words are changed. In here, it's negative, so I use neither. Also, if here is neither, then we don't need to put not again in the second sentence. Also, I add and to connect two sentences, and this sentence, I'm not ridiculous, and neither is Alice. The verb is be verb, so I use be verb in this sentence either, and use and to connect two sentences. Also, here's not, so I use neither to make an agreement. Lastly, in the sentence, Americans have never been to the sun and neither have Canadians. In this sentence, I use neither to make an agreement and use and to connect two sentences. And in these sentences, the tense is perfect tense, so I use have verb here. Also, here is never, so even though there is no not in this sentence, it means negative. Thank you for listening to our presentation.